Okay, I'm recording. Hello dear friends of the Yarnchix Podcast. Today I'm recording the 49th episode of the Yarnchix Podcast here in Berlin, Mending, in our fun new living room setup. I thought I'd sit like this because the daylight will filter in from the window, and if I sit on the sofa, which is now here behind me, I think it'll be relatively difficult with daylight. Super excited that you're visiting me in this living room, bedroom, studio space of mine. My name is Mimi. I podcast from Berlin, Wedding, which is a specific area in the north of Berlin, and I am Liebed on Instagram. I also have the Yarnchix Podcast account over there where I'm kind of promoting things to do with the podcast. So maybe I'm not on there as often or as regularly as on my Liebed account, but I invite you to join me on both of those. And you can also support my craft and my podcast workload over on Patreon, where I host monthly online digital kind of Zoom knit nights, and I share blog posts and an occasional extra video. I know I have been quite quiet in August, but July was brilliant. I had so much fun writing out virtual postcards to all my friends over there, and there's a series of I think 12 postcards. As soon as you register for Patreon, all the content from, all the backlog is available to you. There is a zine subscription over there, which you will not get them sent out in hindsight, but as I'm about to send out the latest printout, which is actually the Advent zine, but if you subscribe now, you will have that in the mail. It's a kind of slapdash Xerox photocopier, fun, proper old school cut and paste paper zine, all about knitting and crafting and the political side, as well as kind of, easygoing things like recipes or little poems, interviews and patterns. So it's quite a fun mix, I think. I always enjoy making it and crafting from it, so I hope you do too. Cheers for joining me today. I've made myself a really posh concoction. It's my own kombucha brewed last week. So I kind of, made the tea, added the sugar and the SCOBY once everything had cooled down. And this is the result. I added some strawberries and a little bit of kind of strawberry syrup. So I macerated the strawberries with vanilla sugar, and I made it all fancy because, why not? Oh, I hope you have your drink ready and maybe a bit of craft. I've got a snack because I have made apple crumble today, so I'm kind of all set up. I've got my running order and I'm here to show you what I have been up to. visual glimpse, and I'm excited to tell you that after the first I do live on a busy road in our neighborhood, and there is like 2 hospitals doing their important work, so we often have sirens going down our street. So I hope that was the only interruption. I just wanted to say I just shared a few glimpses of the linen knitting that I have done over the summer, and I will include a little glimpse of where I spent the summer after this first more kind of community and crafting alongside part of our podcast. I'm going to talk a lot about linomukakal knit along and all my finished objects in there, as well as showcase some of the finished objects I've seen in our hashtag thread. I'm so grateful for you joining in and experimenting with linen yarn. I know 100% linen yarn isn't the easiest yarn to knit with. It's definitely shocked a few of my friends in the past because there's no give, so it's not like wool where you kind of work with this bouncy material, but it is a rather kind of sturdy and stiff material when you knit with it. But once you have got used to it and maybe given yourself a bit of time to get to know this new material, you will, I think, love it. Some people say love it or hate it. I really want you to love it. I absolutely love it because I love wearing all my linomukakal crafted garments, and I think it's brilliant. This year we featured a design, and I will talk about that a little bit further. It was the Rimimuta cardigan, and I was so pleased that the winner of the Yarnchix giveaway, Christina, she's actually knitting it, and she's way further than me, so I'm excited to see hers grow. And I knitted 2 garments. One was a stash buster, and the other is this absolute cracking item. And as I was talking about linomukakal and kind of knitting, holding it double, I wanted to start off my finished object linomukakal crafting with this top because it just shows how flowy and airy it is as a texture, how dense and kind of luxurious it's fall. I don't know if you would say that. You know, the garment drape, let's say, is exquisite, and in summer it will never make you hot. It's one of those fabrics that you wear on your skin, and it just gives your skin space to breathe in a way. So I'm like super convinced of this yarn. It's linomukakal from Wollen Berlin, where I work, so I know this yarn and I've knitted with it a long time, and it might feel a bit like advertising. Maybe it kind of is, but with conviction. Like I really 100% love this yarn. This time, as a summer top, I made this koi tee. It's a design from Ginkgo Bee, who is Autumn, and I absolutely love it. It has this very kind of boat neckline. It's quite wide, and the sleeves are wide as well, so it's super lovely to wear. Usually you knit till like a certain point in the measurement, and you kind of check that it's definitely underneath your boobs for a certain distance, and then you start the ribbing relatively soon. I chose to go about 5 centimeters further, so I've added a bit, maybe less ribbing, but later on. It's got a super nice details under the arm, and this mega pretty split hem with kind of an I-cord edge. It's a dream. It's an absolute dream. The pattern is deliciously well written, like to the point of perfection. Like I've knitted from a lot of patterns, and I have had the experience of going, okay, this is kind of leaving a little bit to the knitter's imagination, and kind of fair enough. Often in Scandinavian or German patterns, the habit is to do so, to say, evenly spread your increases over the next 2 rounds, making sure you've increased by blah blah, like 15 stitches each round, and you go, oh my god, yeah, okay, what's the math? So then, yes, the knitter has to kind of work their hands and their brain a little further, and I really love patterns where it feels like you're not left. Someone's taking your hand and guiding you, so you're not left to kind of go, oh, where am I going? What is this? Oh, okay, now I've worked it out, or I've got it wrong, I've got a frog, I've got to reknit this. You know what I mean? It's like a well-written pattern kind of takes you by the hand and kind of gently nudges you along each step. And this pattern definitely does that. It's visually well divided up, so you don't have these kind of clots of text where you're going, what? Oh, I felt it was a beautifully taken photographs and a beautifully written pattern. So I can't stress enough how I love this pattern, and how you should all check it out, maybe for next year's Linomuka Knit Along, or I think Autumn has several other patterns as well. I'm sure to check them out, especially as she's now started a PayHip page, so go and support her. I appreciate her effort to be inclusive. Also, you know, you can always write if you need a kind of visually more accessible pattern, and it feels like she's communicative and supportive of her crafters. So cheers to Autumn, because she's cool. She's super cool. The other pattern I knitted, and I kind of went all out quickly and knitted it early on and finished it on the holiday, is this kind of high neck slipover. Oh, the camera is kind of blowing out the color. It's this super lush, deep brown silk mohair, and I held linomukakal double with a DK silk mohair. It's deep stash, as I said. I've got a little slip. It's very old. It's been in my stash a long time. It is mohair de connard. This is their kind of label, and the content is 50% silk, 25% merino, and 25% kid mohair, and it's a 2-ply where you have like 350 meters on 100 grams. It's gorgeous. So this was in my stash a long time because a friend of mine, I'm super lucky. I have a friend, she's married to a Danish citizen, and they are the person who taught my husband how to build these cool like wooden structures. My husband used to work for this guy, and my friend is married to this guy, and her in-laws basically gave her all this precious Danish yarn when they had kids, which is the same time as us. That's how we met. And through this friendship, as she could tell that I was knitting like crazy, she was like, oh god, this precious stash, like nothing's happening with it. I want it to go to good hands. So she gave me it, and I had just kind of put it from her stash to my stash. We're talking like 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, maybe worse. I don't know. It was definitely deep stash, and I dived down into like stash land, wanting to use this yarn to knit the Slanting Slipover, a pattern by Anna Maltz. After I was supporting a customer in our shop through video, meetups, and then kind of messaging in her attempt at working out this pattern at a relative early stage in her knitting career. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually really difficult to explain to someone if I haven't knitted it myself. So I basically stash dived to knit it. It was kind of like a momentous quick cast on, and I went, oh God, this is not thick enough. So I just took this yarn bowl to work and walked along the shelves looking for, you know, what kind of yarn can I hold double with this? What would pair well with it? And only at the end I walked up to the linomukakal yarn and I was like, this is perfect. It's linomukakal in the chocolate colorway, and it kind of enhanced the kind of grayish brown quality, and the silk kind of pops, which makes these twisted, what they call those stitches? Damn. Yeah, when you kind of knit through the back of the loop. Oh, my brain. In German we say verschränkt gestrickte Masche. Let's just leave it at that. I'm sure I can kind of write it up down here and I could gather it. I just want to kind of plow on with all my chitter and chatter of this episode. Anyway, I was so chuffed because I was just getting ready to start linomukakal knit along, and I do highly recommend knitting linomukakal from stash, as well as using stash yarns in general. So I thought maybe me knitting from stash and holding linomukakal double during the linomukakal knit along will encourage or make you feel more like, you know, it's open to all, and it's open to anyone knitting with linomukakal. Obviously that is part of the knit along's requirement, but otherwise, you know, go wild, you know, pair it with something else or hold it double, hold it with the mohair, like in the pattern of the featured design. I will show you my not so far progress on that. I keep saying I've made that much, but I've only really cast on, and I've done 4 to 5, yeah, I think it's 5 rows, and I'm holding the linomukakal in marine blue, which I still have on a cone from last year's knit along, together with the Premia, which Premia is a Lamana silk hair. It's finer than a usual silk hair. This has got 300 meters and 25 grams. And I want to make a kind of autumny cardigan called the Rimimuta cardigan. Originally is holding 2 strands of marine blue, and I've kind of changed it up a bit. I will continue because all it takes is for me to get used to the lace pattern. There's a lace panel running down the back, and I'm not far into the pattern, so I'm not yet instinctive enough with it to take it along or knit it whilst commuting or kind of watching TV. It's more like daytime knitting or breakfast knitting. I will kind of carry on knitting on this weekend, but I will also just continue writing about it and sharing about it. It's definitely on the needles and going strong. It's not the only project I still have on the needles for linomukakal knit along, because like I said, I always encourage using leftovers. So this year I've also cast on another Parachutey project. Where did I put it? Yeah. So that would have been a little bit of film about my other fourth, but not final dream linomukakal knit. I have got a fun 2-colored Parachutey where I'm changing the kind of midway. It's short and small because it's a kid's size, and I'm knitting it for a friend's kiddo, and I'm a bit sad that I haven't managed to do this in summer, but who knows, you know, I'm knitting it slightly bigger than their size, so they will be able to wear it later on. And it lives in my Mending project bag and brand new Bruschka project bag. They're both by Retrosaria Rosa Pomar, and it kind of helps me with all the different yarn balls because I'm always holding it double. In this case, again from a cone, and I've wound off a little bit the red and the light green. I kind of hand wound a ball so that I can use it from the inside and the outside, and that always needs a bag around it so that it's kind of safe and doesn't tangle up too easily. I've started knitting the back, and I'm using the leftover chocolate linomukakal from my Slanting slipover with the light green and Japanese red in these kind of fine stripes. I'm gonna keep it pretty basic, like it's gonna be like a repetitive thing. So I've worked out that these are 16 ridges of the garter stitch and then 1 each of the colors. So now I'm gonna do another 16 of the brown and then 2. So it's gonna be actually quite like a basic regular stripe. I kind of hope that that's fun. If I don't like it halfway, I might add another one of my leftovers as a color block to the bottom. Let's see. I'm being creative and open with it because it's, you know, it's just like a fun, scrappy, Parachutey project for a child. So I hope I can finish it relatively soon. Who knows? But that means I've got 2 linomukakal knit along knits still on the needles even after we finished on the first. I was so delighted to see all the projects, and I'm gonna take this moment to share a few of our finished crafts and showcase some of the makers in our community. The entries to linomukakal knit along that joined me for 2021. We started on the 25th of May, so some of the posts are people showing the linomukakal that they ordered or kind of, you know, where they're starting up their ideas, and that's completely fine because in linomukakal knit along the prize is drawn from all the posts entered. Because in linomukakal knit along it's not about finishing. I don't think it helps because I know linen yarn can cause a bit of friction and the process might take a bit longer. And that's all totally fine. That's why the prize goes out to whoever has joined in and communicated that they're joining in. So that's, you know, all posts. And this year, Zara, who is Avitor77, my dear friend here from Berlin, sewed a bag. This is like the coolest bag ever. We also did a swap. She's getting one of my kind of kids' chairs, and I got one of these, and I must say it's such a practical bag. It's made from a really dark denim, and she's added this really good leather strap. I don't know, she must have really cool tools, because this is kind of like hammered in. There is these two straps at the top and the one like a crossbody strap, and the inside is a polka dot patterned cotton. I really love it. And inside of here is more linomuka. I'm basically giving away or sponsored by Wollen Berlin. The part of the prize is a rainbow of linomukakal. There is 7 full skeins making a rainbow, and then there's mini skeins representing all together the proper pride flag, like the flag which I tried to kind of recreate with this flat lay. Yeah, and I hope you like that idea and you enjoy the colorfulness of this prize. I felt like giving out a rainbow and sharing and showing my appreciation for all those knitting in our community from all walks of life, and to actually also celebrate our queer members of the knitting world. Yeah, celebrating everyone as part of our knitting community. And I thought it was such a nice knit along. Again, I feel like we have conversations that go beyond and maybe carry back into real life, and I love that. So let's see who wins this cool prize. I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna show you what the random number generator says. So I said 1 to 46, which is all the photographs that took part, minus mine. So let's see. Generate. It's number 36. Let's see who that is. This is going to be a lot of counting, so I will show you the picture once I've counted, and I'm going to try and edit this part. But so, counting backwards, I've decided to use the numbers, what do you call it? As they happen. So, number 1 would be the first person who posted in our knit along, and number 46 would have been the last post, which was one of a top with like a horse. I don't know, it's like a little toy thing. I thought it was really cool. And that would be 47. And I've counted backwards. Number 36, or not backwards, so I've counted from that first post on the 25th of May till now. Then it is Fräulein Bö. It's this post here. It's the 36th post. And I will be in touch how you can, how we can organize our handover. So congratulations, Fräulein Bö. I am excited to, pass on this really cool hand-sewn prize. And I hope you will enjoy using the bag. I definitely enjoy using mine. And I thank everybody who joined. And I hope everybody will join again next year, and we can carry on our conversations and maybe even carry on our projects. Like, I do hope that my whips will continue growing on my needles now. And I will keep on having fun linomukakal tangles along the way. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in. About the last project I showed you in this episode, my kind of currently knitting and obviously it needs detangling Parachutey. I am double dipping with it, so I think I will definitely finish it during the Magic 3 Mile. And as part of kind of talking about what I've currently got on my needles, I wanted to kind of introduce again our craft along for the younger people in our life. It can be, your own child. It can be the child of a friend, of a neighbor, of a relative, or you could even be crafting for someone who you've never met. I know we're all aware of the kind of unsettled times we're living in. I know that there is a lot of people who are displaced, who are fleeing, or who, are kind of struggling to survive. And I think it would be a great thing to craft and donate to children who live in circumstances that are beyond their making, and I just think it's a good thing. I'm definitely gonna work out a way of maybe donating some of my crafts and my children's garments and things to projects where I hope it will, bring a little bit of handcrafted joy to a child in need. So, why not craft like that? We still have a whole month, like we run until the 1st of October, and yeah, join in if you haven't joined in, and let me know what you're crafting if you are already kind of busily crafting. My current work in process is this Parachutey, as I showed in the linomukakal knit along, because I'm a terrible double dipper. I will take any opportunity to double dip. So I'm double dipping my own craft alongs. This is the front. I've started the back. I reckon I will get this done. And yeah, and I'm excited to see what will become the other parts. to this particular top, if there will be another bottom or what kind of toy I'm making. I'm leaving that open currently. I finished a test knit recently and I forgot to ask if it's okay for me to show it yet. So maybe I'll talk about that more in the next episode. However, I have one finished set. Alarm! She finished 3 items for her Magic 3 Mile. Can you believe it? Well, actually, you will be able to believe it because these are actually 2 things I finished last year. So this is the popcorn vest. It's a pattern by Studio Misha and Puff. Let me tie this and let me pluck some feathers and things off of it. I really like this saffron, this deep saffron colored yellow, and it was meant to be for a small person. I never received it last year because I was like, I've got to keep it because I want to make a set. I'm a bit terrible like that. It will go maybe into a donation related thing because I currently don't know a human this size. And I've also made these 2 taxi booties from Colorful Leftovers. It's a design from Degen USA or Degen Us. I never really know how to say that name without sounding a bit naff. So let's say Degen did this collaboration with Pearl Soho for paid for pattern for these taxi booties, and she sells the pattern through her own webpage. She's actually collaborating with Misha and Puff currently. I think she might bring out a pattern. Who knows? We will get to see it at some point, and I'm excited because now I finished the booties, the popcorn vest, and a toy, which is this Pinglewin. I spent my holiday crafting a brand new Pinglewin. I got to show you that I'm not lying. Okay, that Pinglewin is there. Where's my very own Pinglewin? Where is it? Confused. Oh my god, I just searched the whole house and it was right here underneath all the stuff I've piled up on the table. So this is the new Pinglewin, and this is Pinga. They're made, I'm going to put them standing on the table like this. They're made from the same yarn, at least their bodies, but I must have got such a different gauge by now, or maybe I used different noodles back then. Anyway, the new Pinga is slightly taller. This is what I made, and then my friend made this suit for me because I had a knitting block and I never made the tuxedo. So I was so lucky when somebody said, I've made a tuxedo that's way too small for my Pinglewin. Do you want it? So kind Carrot and Coriander, she sent it to me. Look, this is the Pinglewin with the tuxedo. Oh, as gifted by Carrot and Coriander, whose podcast I'm missing so much. And this is a Pinglewin that I have made as a present for a dear person, so I'm very excited. Pinga will say farewell to her kind of big friend very soon, but for now they're hanging out because it's the knit along, so I'm gonna kind of use them both as my little talisman and campaign supporters, because I want to get you all enthusiastic to carry on and make more. I'm even thinking to reknit another Pinglewin again, because I'm like, I do want it as a little prize. I want to give away another Pinglewin. So who knows what I will manage in this knit along, but I'm super excited that I've basically managed to finish a toy in my holiday and add it to these two items, the top and the bottom, for our Magic 3 Mile, which means now I can create a flat lay and show you.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.
There, you would have seen a little kind of Magic 3 Mile flat lay, because in Magic 3 Mile, in the end, when we have finished sets, we take a picture from up above. You can just pop it on the sofa, pop it on the floor, or on the table, as I just did now. Take a picture and share it with us. And all those flat lays, best to add the hashtag Magic 3 Mile flat lay. Then I know it's kind of your finished set and you're entering into the big giveaway, because we've got a beautiful prize plus more beautiful prizes coming soon. Let me show you something. In this bag are items that I've received, and it's gorgeous. There's this beautiful Abinaya yarn, which Marisa sent us. It's so lovely. She lives in Portugal. She is Spanish originally, and this is like a Portuguese yarn, really well sort of loosely spun and plant dyed, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And this other crinkly paper bag, excuse the sounds, we have the other prize that's arrived in the mail. Let us untie the ribbon. This was crafted by Laura, who is Eagle Mountain Crafts. Under Eagle Mountains, sorry, Laura. Beautiful crafter, and she personally plant dyed and made this little toy quilt. Look at all those colors. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely sweet, sweet, sweet. And it's a play quilt, so basically kids can use it. For example, if they have a Pinglewin, like many of our kids, to kind of wrap up their little toys when they go to bed. Or they can play that they're having a teddy bear picnic, and it's just a play item, which is beautiful, and which is like a heirloom. I think, children will cherish these kind of items that they've used in play, and these kind of handcrafted treats in their own way, because it'll be for them to play with and to cherish and to make their own stories and their own worlds come to life with. So I'm actually grateful for both Marisa and Laura's generous donations, sponsorship of our big prize. There is many more items arriving. My friend Elke, who is Still Garments, is gifting seeds so that whoever wins could grow their own dye plants. So she is very specifically and very knowledgeable in the skill of gardening with the dye pot in mind. She does eco-printing workshops, and it's just a beautiful grafter and good friend of mine here in Berlin. She has recently had a knit blog, and I am kind of, we're kind of connected through our conversations, and it's so kind of her to say, I love seeing everything you craft, and I think that door will open again at some point, but currently I cannot knit, but I love watching things grow, and she just really wanted to support our craft along, so that's super nice of her, and I'm very excited to meet her to pick up some seeds for a future dye garden for someone somewhere, who knows where. And there's more yarns and more crafting items arriving. I've had lots of people get in touch and say, I want to sponsor your craft along, and as always, I'm very excited, as this is kind of my favorite craft along, and I feel like maybe with my summer break of the podcast, I've kind of let you all down. I haven't been writing and speaking about it as much as I might have thought, or lived vicariously through your posts about the Magic 3 Mal throughout summer. I don't know if that sentence is, if I finished it. I hope you understand what I mean. Every time I see something happen in our group, in that chat, it excites me. And usually I would run these kind of mini interviews through Patreon, and usually we would have Ravelry to have a kind of deeper chatter, and all of this is very difficult to run, especially as when I go on summer holiday, I do kind of like a detox, and I don't go online. We don't have net where we're going, so it kind of makes sense to combine the two. But it means I felt like I've been a bit, I've kind of disregarded our community efforts there a little bit. I will, however, start up the mini interviews now for the last month. Let's try and get one out each week. It's free content on Patreon so that everybody can read it. And maybe we'll just inspire a kind of final boost in crafting. Please join Magic 3 Mal and let me know what you've been up to considering it, or if you've got any ideas or questions, do get in touch. This time my podcast won't have a mending part, because I think I left whatever I mended out by the lake, so I'll just kind of talk about mending a little bit more in more detail in the next episode. I always mend things, and I have been fixing up some socks, and I'm still in the process of changing the strap for my crochet bag. Oh, pardon me. I worked out that for me crocheting sideways. Or maybe I'll get the bag and we'll just talk about mending in that way. Hang on. I'm back. I've spontaneously decided to change my opinion. I will talk about the strap. I tried to mend it because one side is so tight it cuts into my shoulder. So I tried to kind of mend it by doing another row of double chain. Row of crochet. I don't know crochet terms, so I've crocheted this, but I don't understand crochet terms. I'm that much of a just do it and not understand what I'm doing kind of crafter. However, it's still not perfect, so I know I have to detach this strap, and I've decided now, instead of the stitches, because it's a long chain of stitches and then it's making crochet stitches backwards and forwards until it's a certain width. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows or 6 rows of that kind of crochet stitch. I think I'm gonna crochet it this way, so it'll be more elastic and easy going on the shoulder. I know I then have to calculate kind of the ease of it, with wear and tear of it kind of stretching, but I think I'll like it more. I want a wider strap, about twice as wide as this, and it can be this length. It doesn't need to be much longer. So I'm going to keep you posted. I'm going to use the linomukakal in the natural undyed colorway, because linen naturally is this kind of shiny silver grey, which I really love. You can see here in the tassels as well, I've got the shiny natural undyed and the brick. Yeah, I absolutely love the bag. I finished mending this part of putting the inlet in, and now it's the straps turn. I will keep you posted on that. So I've kind of gone backwards and forwards with this mend, but I haven't successfully completed it. I will keep you posted, but that's still kind of my main mending project. I'm mending a dress, which I will be talking about in the next episode. So watch out for episode 50 if you're into mending. There'll be 2 projects to share with you. I forgot another magic 3 mile, and as you know, I said I did craft. I did do stuff. I wanted to show you that the black sweater now has turned out to become this luminous red orangey sweater. It's a very classic simple raglan. I'm using the flax sweater pattern by Tinkan Knits for the flax light, but I'm omitting the garter stitch shoulder parts and parts on the sleeve, because I think in this yarn it look a bit funny. It's self-striping and 100% vegan yarn. It's viscose, let me read, linen, viscose, and mainly it's cotton. The balls come apart like this. They're an absolute nightmare. It's called trefili, and because the yarn balls are such a nightmare, I kind of wind them into these harder balls. And yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a sweater for my child for Magic 3 Mile, and I will keep you posted on that. It lives in this beautiful bag by the Blue Rabbit house. It's called the Blue Rabbit house. It's got these vegan leather straps and this beautiful print over hair holding a little ladybird. And I love it. It was a treat to myself, from myself. And I'm just about to share the yarn that I bought at the same time as I bought this from Crescent Woods in Den Haag. So, as often, if you start knitting mkals, you want to continue knitting mkals. Mystery knit along, yeah! And the season is starting. Whoop, 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 whoop. For many community things. I'm going to show you the yarn, but first, admin. I need to tell you, Stash Rent is happening and registration is open. We will register all the way until the first week of October. So let's say 5th of October. Please send me your email in a direct message in a DM. Not here on YouTube, but via Instagram. I'm super excited. It's our stash countdown calendar that we create from our stash, and we kind of craft a little calendar of different amounts of presents, because we have Hanukkah celebrations, we have Christmas celebration, we have the New Year celebration, there is Father Frost, for example, in Russia, or the Chinese New Year. You know, we will communicate with each other so that the person knows what kind of countdown calendar we're looking for. I'm very excited. So it'll be several presents with several skeins, and we dive into our stash, and we could start that soon. I'm going to start some prompts this year, so we'll have like weekly themed prompts. And I'm excited. Lots of you have already messaged me, and I had so much fun last year. It kind of pulls me and carries me through the whole season where I do my kind of yarny Christmas themed vlogs. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And I welcome you. I invite you to join in. Please let me know if you find it difficult. Maybe your stash isn't so immense. There have been people saying, I've got enough to make 2. If somebody just wants to receive a calendar, that's fair enough. Obviously, don't take the mickey. If you've got yarn, you don't have to just go, I just want one, I don't want to make one, because it's all about celebrating that stash and sharing the love of stash goods. And stash good, love sharing. I dove into my stash for the mat. Shawlography Mystery Knit Along by good old Stephen West. And this is what came out the stash. Oops, something's attached. What is it? Something was attached. It was not even yarn. It was like, this is my stash dive result. I'm so excited. I wanted something blue and I want a pop of orange, and I've got something that's variegated. So this is Releasing My Inner Bob by Yipeeyarn, Jarnine, who's based in the Netherlands, and I bought this from her last year. It's kind of like a just buy a yarn that I love kind of moment, and I'm super happy I have it. Then I have this beautiful South Downs yarn in this kind of bright orange, which I think pairs really well. South Downs yarn is a very specific yarn breed from an area of the UK that's very dear to me, and Louise dyes this. She's also very dear to me. I think her work is currently on hold, but I love her yarn. I've got something on the needles, and I will forever love her yarns and her project. So this is plant dyed in the UK, Netherlands. Another UK yarn, which is Exmoor Sock by John Urban, and this came alongside the Blue Rabbit House bag from Cross and Woods. I bought this especially for a toy, so I won't use all of it. I'm just using this color as a theme. I will dive into my stash and find more in this color because I do like a bit of a golden ochre green, and I will just kind of add stash bits and bobs and the leftover from a toy I'm planning to knit, because this is kind of a color. Then I found this kind of cotton wool yarn actually in the stash box in the yarn shop. I think it's a Gaiest, which is 50-50 cotton and wool. I think somebody donated it. And then last but not least, it's this plant dyed beauty from Woolly Mammoth Fiber, which Alice, my friend, gifted me generously for my birthday. It's my birthday yarn, and again I will use bits of it. I think I'm gonna just see how it melts into this blue. I'm just gonna see what shawlography is like, and I'm gonna just experiment. I'm gonna wind this down, and you would have already seen a little bit of like a green spot at the beginning of this podcast, which is kind of like my summer home, the nature, secret spot that I wanted to share with you. And now I'm going to share as the knit reportage kind of the final days of the shop Wollen, when we used to have our shop in Friedrichshain. I actually filmed a little bit and recorded that goodbye in my way, for myself mainly, because I know I will miss that shop. I've made a lot of connections through the knit circle there, through the work there, and I don't know, I kind of relate to spaces. I have this thing about architectonic I don't know, site-specific care and what places and spaces can mean to us. So, I did say goodbye with, a bit of sadness, but with a lot of happiness, because now the shop is about 8 minutes from here, and obviously it makes it a huge difference that I don't cycle 45 minutes to work, that now I only cycle 8 minutes to work, and that is, I gained a lot of time for me and my family. But I, said a sad goodbye, and now a happy new shop thing. I'm gonna report back about the new space later on, but I've kind of filmed a little knit reportage as the last things, and I think it kind of fits with the whole linomukakal knit along, coming together, finishing the beautiful price I just shared, and all the crafters that I met through linomukakal knit along and the shop Wollen. And the Yipeeyarn, that is our house yarn there, so it kind of makes sense. I'm going to share that. Also, I'm going to pick a tarot card now, so as part of all the kind of medleys where I show you items or share a bit more kind of visual close-ups, I also do this tarot knit oracle at the end of the podcast, where I ask either a personal question, something that would help me, or something for a community. I highly recommend going back to the last Tarot Knit Oracle. I even included a little short trying to explain my reading in my YouTube channel. But you're welcome to watch back 48. It was community questions, and I cherish that you reached out to me with questions, and I do like our answer, or the tarot card that seem to tell us an answer. This time I want to ask about how to carve out those time slots that I feel are missing in my life. Like, I feel like I'm always rushing and I'm always behind, especially with the art projects that I do, with my writing for the zine, with my podcast. Like, I really had to make sure I recorded today, and I really enjoyed recording and chatting to you, but my time is limited. I work 40 hours, and with the move, maybe I was up to 42 hours a week, and it shows. Like, my feet are hurting, my brain is busy, my ear sound is, ever present, and there is so little time, I feel, so little time to wind down, that I tend to, kind of panic wind down. I don't know if that exists in your world, but you kind of go, I've got to relax. I don't know if it's so relaxing to think one has to relax. Guilty as charged. So I wanted to ask the tarot cards if there's a way to time travel, or how to carve out extra pockets of time, how I can achieve this, and what they suggest, what kind of proactive way of dealing with my lack of extra time the cards suggest for me. So yeah, I hope you like that, and I hope you like my podcast and that you enjoyed the time here. I hope I haven't extended this kind of time limit of an hour. If not, you know who I am, I can't stop. And I'm excited you watched all the way to the end. I know not all of us manage to watch podcasts to the end. I appreciate you here, and I appreciate you as a viewer, as someone at the other end of the screen. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to, chat away. And yeah, I'm grateful you're here, sitting down, doing your thing, or listening in. I know it is, there's so much on offer. Life is so busy. It's choice what we spend our time doing and how we support people. So I'm grateful you're supporting me. Feel free to hit subscribe. I do want to kind of get across that threshold of 1,000. That would be lovely, because I'm in the kind of 700s, and yeah, it would be nice. I think it will make it easier for my thing to show up in general. Make sure you check out my pages, and that you find time for yourself carved out of kind of whatever busy schedule, crafting and relaxing, as I do know I need my tarot card to tell me more about. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the card and the little fade out with my knit reportage. See you soon. Look after yourself. Stay who you are and how you are, because you're cool. See you later. Bye bye.